Reserve time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, welcome to the ace match between Escape Gaming and Power Rangers. It's tied up 1-1. Winner of this one moves on to the next round. The loser of this heading home early. Oh boy, how unfortunate to be the first team knocked out of the playoffs. The Global Grandmasters. Will it be Escape or will it be Power Rangers? The odds somewhat leveled out. It's been a pretty topsy-turvy series in terms of both games looking fairly convincing for the winners. But right now, the favorites are Escape Gaming. I'm Zyori, joined again by Purge. Purge, how you feeling, man, coming into Game 3?
I'm excited. It's going to be a little bit different than the previous games as well. I just like how every one of the three games we're seeing a little bit of variety. Earth Spirit now being played by Escape Gaming. We're going to see an Elder Titan on Power Rangers side. Escape opens with the Dazzle again, and the only thing bad about their opening here is that they have both supports selected already, so they may be a bit limited. Generally, supports are very good at countering certain cores, so the fact that they have both could prove some implications against, for example, hard to gank heroes or hard to kill heroes like Faceless Void. Earth Spirit's a good solution though, because he makes up for lack of disables by having three disables. So good opening for Escape here, and Power Rangers as well, great opening. Elder Titan Faceless Void's very strong. You can do Elder Titan ulti on top of Chronosphere. You can do Roman with Elder Titan. He scales well against a lot of popular carries right now. So good openings for both teams. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. I am completely sold on the Elder Titan at every stage in the game, between the late game Earth Splitters, the early Echo Stomp setups, and just that natural order everywhere in between. Usually it's a bit risky to open with both of your supports, but this is bread and butter for Escape Gaming. We've seen them do this a lot of times. Two complete comfort picks, Synderen on his high prize Dazzle and Yapsor on his Earth Spirit, two very good player-hero combinations. And I do think these supports kind of make up what the other one lacks, sort of as you were talking about. So in terms of support duos, this is one you can really get away with. We'll see what these teams do with their next round of bans. Klink's the third choice by Escape, and Power Rangers ban out the Terrorblade. So what about the Wraith King? The Wraith King ban there is a little bit interesting to me, especially when you have a Faceless Void. If he goes for Manta Diffusal Blink, I mean, that's the counter to Wraith King, you know?
Yes, but before he gets the Manta Diffusal, Wraith King's a good solution, because if he survives Chronosphere or dies in Chronosphere and resummons, then Faceless Void no longer has a same thing for Elder Titan, kind of. His spells are a bit cooldown reliant, especially with Earth Splitters, so if Wraith King's very farmed, he can be a solution against those kind of nukes. I think it's an okay ban. Maybe isn't the best hero, but another nice thing that Escape has going for them against Elder Titan is that they have Dazzle ult. It'll offset a lot of what the passive does, actually. So I kind of like the Dazzle pick in anticipation of them maybe picking up. All around, things look good, and they may not have to worry about an axe this game either, so Brave's going to look a lot better this game than it did last.
Oh, there's the Lone Druid. That is likely to be your Koikva hero there in the mid lane. I guess worth reiterating once more, Blister, that is Koikva. I know people will be joining us later on in the broadcast wondering why we're calling Blister Koikva. He is on a different account. Proper player, different account. So there are no stand-ins for Escape Gaming, and of course Undershock is in for a rise. Not sure if that's a replacement. It seems like Undershock, he played with the team yesterday or the day before, and we saw them in the upper bracket, and I think he's been playing with them for at least a week or so. So he's been that consistent stand-in, not just some random guy they pulled in off the street.
Yeah, considering that the series started about 30 minutes late and we're now in Game 3, I wouldn't be too surprised if somebody had to go. These players aren't extremely full-time Dota players. I mean, the PR is a pretty long-name organization, but when things go along, sometimes you have other stuff you got to deal with. Their next pick here, they need a decent solution against Lone Druid. Obviously, they're going to be able to do lots of magic damage to him, but right now they don't have much physical, and they may need more solutions like that. Otherwise, he can just build like Pipe and be covered, or even Hood if he wants to be really inexpensive. So they need some kind of damage that isn't just cooldown based, because if they can grave through that, then it's going to be really hard for them to kill Lone Druid.
Yeah, we've seen some teams find success against the Lone Druid by just going for like a split push type lineup. You know the Druid is going to go Midas Radiance. I think that's the standard. Koikva does it almost every game. And that gives you a pretty decent window to pressure lanes. You know, heroes like Terrorblade, for example, that really early timing push. And just sort of get the momentum and take over, so you can get to the point where you can kill all of Lone Druid's friends. And then even though he's big, bad, and scary, once you're in a 4v1, 4v2 type scenario, he becomes much more manageable. But it's about ping-ponging around the map, finding the space where where the Druid is not, and putting the pressure on that way. They will take Kunkka, so a good setup with the Bane. This could be a core Kunkka. We actually saw a solo mid Kunkka yesterday in the playoffs of this tournament. Still open-ended for Power Rangers.
I sort of like it here as a core. I think it could work as a support also, but maybe not amazing. As a support, actually, I think I would say absolutely pass for the fact that if you have Bane, Kunkka, and faces forward Elder Titan, everything is very delayed. If Scape gets like a Glimmer Cape on Dazzle, then nobody should die, really, because they should be resisting all that damage, plus you put Grave on. Obviously, it'd be hard for people to get away, but resisting their damage would be pretty straightforward. Kunkka would be... To put him all in basically on his spells would be a mistake, is my point. If you put him mid instead, he can lane okay against Lone Druid, splashing against the main bear. He can do cleave damage against all these high armor targets, which is going to be technically pure as it splashes through. I think Kunkka is a pretty good mid solution. As soon as he hits 6, for example, and Void hits 6, he can just TP to the offlane, get the easiest boat torrent ever, and very likely get a kill there. So there's a lot of good ways that Kunkka could fit in as a mid hero and then rotate around getting.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's likely to be the Bane Elder Titan support duo, and then they'll be looking for their safe lane carry with this final pick for Power Rangers. But this is a scary draft. They have a ton of setup and control. You've got Chronosphere, you've got Nightmare, as well as Fiend's Grip, Echo Stomp, the Boat, X-Torrent combo. A lot of catch on this team in terms of how are you ever going to run away from them. Escape do have some power, though. I don't think this is a clear-out draft. Their lineup is pretty scary in its own right. A lot of sustainability now with the Necrophos and the Dazzle. Necro, always a scary hero, no matter how far behind you are. An Ag's refresher on that guy at 60 minutes plus is potentially game-winning in most scenarios, so I wouldn't sleep on the Necro. The hardest part for him is just that laning phase, and given that they've got the Lone Druid, I think it'll be Lone Druid mid, safe lane Necrophos, so he should be able to farm pretty well and get over that initial hurdle, but we'll see what they do with this final pick. Escape thinking about this final ban quite a lot.
Yeah, the Lone Druid mid would be way safer, and I think it's more likely to do that, but there's a chance that they could try to do Necro mid. Against a Kunkka, he could definitely stomp on a Kunkka in lane, just because every time Kunkka goes for a last hit, he could just Death Pulse while right-clicking him back to Fountain, or back to Tower. With that said, he could get ganked, so they'll probably put Lone Druid mid. It's just a bit safer. I kind of like Necrophos a lot in this lineup just because it gives them the opportunity to burst people down. Even if they Chrono Necro, for example, as long as they get the Grave off, Necro can turn that around with some nukes, maybe an ulti, which could give him regen to keep him alive. But with all that said, Kunkka's boat could be really problematic for Escape this game, because if he boat buffs his team, basically means that Necro can't ulti for
10 seconds
or however long it lasts. Like it's a huge threat because it could just have that damage and delayed until later, which means the longer respawn time is just gone. So I think it's a good pick here. It's a strat that Escape likes doing. It'll give them very good 4-man with full double heal from Necro Dazzle, but I'm not completely sold that it's gonna put them in a good place just yet. It's a good balance pick, and it should make for a good game.
Absolutely. This is a very tough final ban. I have no idea what power bottom here in the safe lane. If it is that mid Kunkka we're thinking about, then probably the Undershock. They ban out Marana. I guess that's as good a ban as any. Good setup with the Bane. They have a lot of good setup for Arrow just in general. And we have seen that hero kind of take over when she gets the Ag. So it's a pretty safe ban.
Yeah, that definitely is. It would have been a little magic heavy, but I definitely agree that the other aspects like the laning effectiveness, the survivability, he could Arrow on Chrono, on Nightmare, on X, on Stomp. It's like actually the perfect Marana core game, with the exception of the fact that it's a little magic heavy. So, and Escape will finish up with a Bat Rider. It'll be one of their 2 initiating heroes. I think this is a good choice. Great thing to combo with Necrophos. Basically, just grab somebody out of position and blow them up instantly, and that should start a fight off really right for Escape.
Yeah, Bat Rider, the final choice here for Escape. Very good initiation, but what do Power Rangers want with their final? This is a tough one. They need a big damage dealer, though. They have a great setup, they have great control, but I think they need a good ranged carry who can really synergize well with the Void Chronosphere. And they do take a ranged carry and a pretty high damage one at that. Somebody who can an interesting final choice.
It's very kill Necro, but Weaver does something better. Like you said, because of Chronosphere, you wouldn't want to pick a melee physical damage dealer. Weaver's going to get Deso, obviously. He can lane against Bat Rider pretty well. He can pose a big threat to Lone Druid using the bugs, since the bear will get minus armor that way. And very good against Necro for the same reasons, just bursting him down in that way. He's going to have to get covered a little bit by his supports occasionally due to the Earth Spirit. And Lincoln's is ultra important this game for him, because it could, if he doesn't have it, it could mean Lasso Necro ult, but I think the Weaver was a pretty good pick here. It should work out all right.
All right, we'll see. We're going to have a short break, then load into Game 3, Escape Gaming versus Power Rangers.
5 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The epic Game 3 between these two teams. It's been a hell of a series so far. Hopefully Game 3 does not disappoint on that front. Lanes will be fairly straightforward for the Power Rangers. Cheshire Cat taking the Faceless Void to the off lane. Gotham will take the Weaver safe lane. And of course, that does leave Undershock on the Kunkka, who is committed to mid. Hey, what do you think, Purge? Is mid Kunkka pretty good? Is it just a total niche peak, or could we actually see the return of the Admiral?
I think it's potentially very good, yeah. I mean, I just really like the fact that once he hits 6, he has really good gank potential. Even with only 1 point in Torrent, for example, you can do, what, 520 magic damage? That's really strong. Really nice play by PR here, by the way. They double TP'd, they TP'd one hero to the top, and they TP'd one hero mid, and they instantly got wards down. And then the Void sat on the top of his ward spot here, just to look to see where they warded. And Escape tried to do some tricky stuff to get it planted correctly, but they did end up having a ward there, and luckily Synderen playing that very well also. It was clear that they spotted their observer ward getting put down, so he was able to deward the other ward. So trading 1-for-1 makes that a lot better first.
What is Kezu up to in this bottom lane?
Him experience.
All right,
Unless
mid lane,
perfectly.
Undershock taking a lot of damage here. Not going to be a kill quite yet, but already pressure from Yapzor. That is pretty cheeky from the Bat Rider. I have to admit, I like that. And it seems like the key part of this little cliff here, he makes it to the low ground, and the creeps have to walk all the way around to attack him while he's TPing, so you get a little bit of extra kind of value out of that pull. That's pretty cool. Now back towards the mid lane, Big Nub's rotated in. Yapzor, he goes rolling on in, but it's right into an Echo Stomp, and there is some kill potential here. They're going to throw some right clicks out. Can they actually make it happen?
Dead. Oh, maybe not.
Bringer, he knocks off the salve. Big Num really wants this. He does have a windlace. The Bear not able to body block, but he does get the rolling boulder off. Not going to be a kill. He just denies into the neutrals, but close setup there. Not anticipating that early rotation from the Elder Titan.
Yeah, nicely done by Elder Titan. I like the fast windlace. It's basically like he has boots since the hero's so fast, so they get advantage there. And the Bat Rider didn't get as much as he wanted out of that either. He just simply didn't. The wave never pushed. They did a pull right away and it messed it up.
Yeah, now he's just going to try to leech in the tree line nearby. Just now hits level 2. So, a noble effort. I do like the idea of what he was going for. Unfortunately here, it doesn't work out too well. He'll have some help rotating in. It's Yapzor that comes down, but Big Num, he's like an Earth Spirit magnet. Wherever Yapzor goes, Big Num follows. And really throwing a wrench into the mix here. Looks like Earth Spirit will just head back towards the mid lane. He does pick up a haste rune, though. That's a small stroke of luck.
Alright, that's pretty good for him. Kunkka's gonna have to back for a bit, but creep wave's resetting anyways, not a big deal. On the off lane, Faceless Void is level 3 already, so they're doing quite well. Aira's picking up 2 here, so I think PR is pretty happy with this. They've really limited what Earth Spirit can do. Bat Rider's getting some experience, but being slightly shut down. It's going about even, but I think a little ahead for PR maybe.
Yeah, the disparity is definitely the offlaners. Void's at least found 8 last hits so far. We'll see another rolling boulder in towards the mid lane, but Undershock under the tower should be pretty safe. Looking at raw CS, it's a fairly even spread here in the mid as well. Kunkka keeping up blow for blow with that lone druid, even with the help of this Earth Spirit rotating in and out. It's one of the powers of Kunkka. His last hitting is really scary. Tidebringer makes his life a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. I kind of like what Quakefoot did here, though. He instantly bought double boots to start the game off, and I think the only reason he did this is because he's against a melee hero. It basically guarantees him the ability to pressure a little bit harder. So, especially once he hits level 5, he's going to have so much ability to pressure Kunkka in lane that Kunkka is not going to be able to last it nearly as well.
Yeah, yesterday or the day before, whichever it was when we saw the Kunkka, we saw him using the Torrent really just to deny last hits. Like whenever the enemy would come up to the wave, he would use the Torrent just so they couldn't time their last hitting very well. It's just pure harassment. Not really going for kills, but just raw farm at least until level 6 comes out. And if you leave the Torrent at level 1, it's a fairly mana effective way to harass like that once you get the bottle. It's kind of a cool way, a cool take on the Kunkka mid.
Yeah, it is pretty cool actually. And once his Tidebringer gets a bit bigger, he can harass slightly more efficiently. He's doing a great job keeping the bear a bit low, but he can always resummon that or heal it. And he could get ganked, obviously, but as long as Bat Rider stays in the offlane, there's pretty low chances that Lone Druid will be pressured with realizing.
So Era just farming away, #1 on net worth as the Necrophos, blow for blow with the Weaver, both of them having a pretty easy time. Very curious what build Era goes into this game. He's got some heavy int items, a null tally, and right into his power treads. Okay, nothing too creative so far, but do you rush a Blink? Do you go for the mech? Do you go like Atos? There's a lot of choices.
No, he's gonna do the build that he did the other day, and what it is you go Veil of Discord, which makes perfect sense. When I saw it, I was like, how come nobody has done this before that I've seen at least? I mean, Veil it fits so many interiors. They all have armor lackings, they want generic HP and stats, it amps all of their damages perfect. Makes Reaper's Scythe do more, makes your Death do more, and it helps your Sadist keep you alive longer. It's a perfect item. And then I think he translates into Dagon Blink Dagger, something like that. Something that gives him the ability to just set up kills and guarantee ults, which just makes the game so hard to play, especially when you're on Dire. That's a big advantage going for Escape, knowing that they could Reaper Scythe somebody, they'll be dead for 70 seconds, and then they just take Roche and eventually translate that to an Ags so nobody can buy back. Like, it's such a good late game hero for that reason, but teams just don't quite like it that much yet.
Invisibility Rune mid, Undershock, X into Torrent. Not going to have a kill potential here, I don't think. Echo Stomp slows things down. Just trying to harass back Kunkka, or pardon me, Koikva. Nice Savage Roar there from the bear. Will reset things a little bit, and he'll be just fine. Now Dazzle rotates in. A little bit of healing, trying to help out his buddy. Like they could have another rotation from the Earth Spirit as well on the high ground, but nope, everybody will just go their separate ways. Yeah, the Dagon Necro is actually really good. I totally agree everything you said about Veil. It fits the hero very nicely. Also gives you that easy build-up so you can grab null tallies early on, get some of those extra stats, and then have it move into an item. Yeah, Cheshire Cat gets a bash. Era's going to have another Death Pulse in one, but this Echo Stomp could actually set up the kill. He doesn't have enough mana for it, though. Oh, no, he's about 3 mana short. Now YapzOr comes in. Brain Sap. Era stays alive on about 11 HP. Now the Echo Stomp onto YapzOr into a bash. They will still draw the first blood. Bane gets credit for it, but not the target they wanted. How unfortunate for the Elder Titan. Literally 3 mana short to get off that Echo Stomp.
Oh, that's pretty tough. Really good for PR, though. The fact that they're able to get at least 1 kill out of it. It's like Era's just going to do a little bit of jungling, try to stay in this, but it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't die. He's not getting that much regen from Sadist. He even grabbed a second point in Sadist. I don't know if I agree with this, but he needed some more lane sustain. He didn't have it yet because he bought treads instead.
Yeah, this poor Bat Rider, he's going to get zoned out trying to kill those poopy mud golems. It's hard for the Bat Rider. That magic resistance hurts, and they actually snipe one of the last hits, which is pretty nice. Those little baby golems might actually despawn before the Bat Rider even gets back. It's been a rough game for Kezu. He does have 25 last hits, so I guess it's getting a little bit better. He's almost level 6. It could be worse, but certainly not good for the Bat. Not one of these matches where he's just going to take over. Bane comes in, gets a kill on the bear in the mid lane. Wow, that's really nice. That's a lot of bonus XP and gold for the Bane.
Yeah, Lone Druid's not actually stomping this lane like I expected him to. He's playing really far back with his bear. He's like harassing the Kunkka, but Kunkka keeps getting Tidebringer splashes on him, so he brought himself a Tango. He's just been kind of healing here. Getting pressured hard, and he's very worried about the gank as well. They've got 2 wards set up to spot those rotations because they know Lone Druid, if he's rotated on by 2 supports, he can die very easily.
Yep, good call with those wards. Very defensive placement. Bane now level 5, trying to get to that dreaded Fiend's Grip territory. He's had a pretty good game so far, just continuing to harass in the jungle. Kezu, unable to farm to his heart's content. It's just so annoying for the Bane to come up and leech his XP like this. And of all the heroes to do it, Bane can always use the Nightmare, disengage defensively, Synderen rotating in, trying to set something up onto J4. Does connect with the Poison Touch, but yeah, no follow-up.
Oh, it's
off the mark, but it does hit the bear.
Did they misclick the X? I'm so confused.
Oh no.
I didn't see the very initiation of that, but the bear is not.
I mean, he did just recently resummon it, so maybe the thought process is if we can kill the bear here, the druid is totally crippled for the next 45 seconds. But yeah, a very ambitious call if that was the case. Oh, Chronosphere up top, right onto Era. Follow-up damage inbound. And yeah, he's going down. Echo Stomps resetting things a little bit. J4 with that 3-point brain sap doing huge damage. And again, the Bane gets credit for that kill on the Necro. Very nice. And the Dream for the first Chrono shut down the enemy position 1.
Yeah, they're doing a great job shutting down Era. Void is just so good for that because there's no disable on Necro other than his ultimate. So as long as if he death pulses him, he just jumps towards the Necro and he starts hitting him because he offsets all of the nuke and he's on cooldown. And the biggest counter of all of them is actually time dilation. Like, to play Necro correctly, you need to stay alive and continuously spam out death pulse. But if you stop that from coming off cooldown, Necro is a really bad hero.
That's a great point, actually. Time dilation is ridiculous in that sense. It's pretty good against most of these other heroes as well. Even the Bat Rider, for example. You want to spam out that sticky. Time dilation makes that a lot more difficult. Looks like in the bottom lane, they're going to try to finish off this tower. Still reasonably healthy. Got him having a really good time. He's #1 on net worth now that the Necro's died. He's picked up that early Blightstone. Just a casual Ring of Health. Might transition into a Linken's, but I think more likely just casual regen while he moves into the Desolator. When you're uncontested like this, an early Desolator, especially following a tower kill, your damage goes from pretty lackluster to detrimental at the flip of a switch.
Yeah, you might be right here. The fast Deso, especially how they're pressuring and getting lane kills, it could be so much. If he just shows up top and they Chrono Necro, they kill him every time with the Deso. It could be huge. Except for Grave, I guess. There's always going to be Grave in the equation. Could lead to like Grave TPs and stuff like that, but we'll see.
Yeah. They'll have to cross that bridge when they come to it. Mid lane, there is a smoke from PR. They want to have a go on the lone druid. X into Torrent, but he gets an entangle off. Kunkka gets pushed back. The boat's still going to fly through. Can they kill him here? Oh, the bug actually wake him up from the nap. That's so unfortunate for PR. Now got him. Caught by the lasso. Not have enough mana for the time lapse. Just barely gets the mana now. They're going to dive pretty deep here. Escape on the back foot. The lone druid, the first to fall. Keizu flying around the tree line, just staying in fog. Very nicely done there. Synderen very low on mana, puts a lot of damage back into the Weaver. He'll run onto the fire. Oh, that's a free kill for Keizu and a misplay for Gotham. PR just in so deep here. Dazzle will die to the Nightmare. Nice setup from J4, but now it's Era. Undershock going to be put in the grave with that extra time. Now J4 with nowhere to go will get cleaned up, and in the end, Escape take a pretty decent fight. Pretty big misplay there from the Weaver to end up killing himself. It's a 1k net worth swing in favor of Escape Gaming.
Yeah, that was huge advantage for Escape at the end. They just super messed up, and that was on Weaver. I don't think he realized he was that low, but he just walked right into the fire and died. Really big mistake from him. If they just disengaged to the upper left, and that's it. Instead, they lose 3. Like, Escape punished that very well when all the heroes finally showed up, and maybe they got tunnel vision. They just thought, it's going well, they're not showing up, we're winning, and then all of a sudden they just all died. Arrow might die as well, though.
Yeah, we're going to jump back to game here. There's a Chronosphere. Oh my god, these hotkeys. That's my bad. Era still maybe falls. They don't get the Nightmare off in time. Synderen with a good grave will just delay the inevitable. A Fiend's Grip comes out, and no way for the Necro to live. Sind could be in trouble here as well. They know there's no grave, but Gotham takes huge damage from that heal bomb. Nicely timed by Synderen there.
All right, and it looks like he is going back for the Linken's here. It's doing a good job delaying this as long as possible, but Sind has to go back now.
Mid lane,
Keizu,
he's caught by the X. Undershock might be able to bring him down here, but Lasso at the last second, he does manage to get off the boat. This is going to mitigate a lot of damage. A super close call. A lot of reinforcements coming for the Radiant, though. Gotham should be able to clean this up. Undershock will just barely live. Great use of the boat there to delay himself and stay alive.
Oh, he was so dead if he didn't boat there. The amount of damage he stopped was incredible. Nice rotation from Gotham as well to guarantee the back kill. He really wanted to outplay him there, and he was close. If Weaver didn't show up, I think he had that kill.
Yep. 6-3 now. Power Rangers regaining some of that lost footing after the failed team fight, getting a kill on the Necrophos, and now bringing down the Bat Rider. Undershock with a double damage rune on. They've got some potential here. Yapzor is invisible. He's going to rotate in. Nice stun on 2. Magnetize comes out. Undershock will be pretty low. He's going to turn and try and fight the bear. Needs to be so careful here with this limited HP. Echo Stomp puts Synderen to sleep. Keizu, he blinks into the Echo. Oh my, that's going to hurt. Synderen will manage to get off the grave. That'll keep him alive for now, but Gotham wants to commit for this. A few auto attacks, 2 will be enough. The Weaver will get it. Time lapse back to the other side. Now Keizu, boat on the way, will connect on Era. Keizu lives through it. Flame break to try and break things up. Now Undershock again, caught by the Reaper's Scythe. Go down with a few extra seconds on that respawn time. J4 with 3 stacks of sticky, nowhere to go. Will get caught by a first hit entangling claws. And Escape turn things around and actually get a couple of kills in the mid.
for them again. Big Reaper Scythe guaranteeing the kill. They have to get people so low for that to work, but they did it. I don't think they can defend this. There's almost no way. Weaver's in position, but I just don't see them stopping this with Elder Titan alone.
Especially without a time lapse. Gotham needs to be so cautious about his positioning here. They will TP in Cheshire Cat. They're going for Era. It looks like time dilation's already been used, but now Kezu reinitiates. He does have a lasso. Earth Splitter flies through, going to be off the mark. Now the lasso comes out on a Cheshire Cat. The damage ticking him low, but he does have a time walk. He survives through the initial burst. Era coming in. A few more auto attacks. They will get the kill. Another disastrous trade for PR. They don't defend the tower, and in the end, they only lose their Faceless Void without finding a kill of their own, though maybe I spoke too soon. Here we go. Both coming in onto Era. Davy Jones connects. The Torrent follows up, but Synderen nearby. Does he have a grave? He does, but not enough mana. A couple of stick charges might be enough to top him off. Nightmare onto Synderen. Now the Fiend Script. They're doing a good job controlling this Dazzle. Echo Stomp into Kunkka Tidebringer, destroys the Shadow Priest. Now Era on the run. Maybe an Echo Stomp can set this up for a kill, but nope. Elder Titan short on mana. It does, however, give the vision for an X, and there's that catch from Power Rangers we were talking about. A double kill now from Undershock. With the maxed out Tidebringer, Phase Boots, Drums, that's a pretty big amount of damage he can do every 4 seconds.
Yeah, they messed up pretty bad. Trying to save Sin, they just should have ditched him really hard. There's no reason Era should die for that at that point. They kept him alive and let him die. They lose a tier 1 tower because of that. That's really big.
Yeah, J4, we saw his great Vengeful Spirit plays in the games prior, but he's really been playing well so far. He's gotten a lot done, and he's doing a good job controlling Dazzle. They know the Grave is something they don't really have a counter for, except to put him into the Nightmare or something before that. Savage Roar down bottom ensures the TP out. Nicely done there. They're going to be in some trouble, though. That's a nice 300 gold bounty for the Weaver, I believe. That'll secure his Lincoln Sphere. And killing the bear at this stage is just about as good as killing a hero in terms of what you gain out of it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's like the 3rd or 4th bear death. It's tough for Escape, but it's better than Lone Druid dying by all means. And he's getting pretty close to Relic now, so I don't think they really care that much. 3,000 gold on him. Once they get Radiance, it's going to be quite a bit tougher for PR to do some of their damage, but it's not going to mean the end of the fights by any means. Wow,
look at that gold graph. I think that tells quite a story of how this game has gone. Very topsy-turvy as both teams have found pretty successful skirmishes. Lincoln Sphere on Weaver, that makes him a more formidable force, of course, also level 11, so now that time lapse, shorter cooldown, lesser mana cost. I think this Weaver will start to transition into damage next and really become a threat. He walks into an enemy sentry. Another enemy sentry. Needs to be a little careful here. Synderen and Yapzor in the pit. Nowhere for Sin to go. He's going to try to Grave TP. Savage Roar from the bear. Not enough. Barely gets off the Echo Stomp. Wow, nicely played by Bignum. I thought Dazzle was going to live there for sure.
And PR plays around so well from what Escape does when they end up going for smoke ganks. Like, every single time they're in position, they put Faceless Void on a cliff to break smokes, for example. They set up perfectly, and they chased and punished. It was only Dazzle dying, so I guess they didn't feel comfortable trying to sneak, but good reaction either way.
Yeah, I guess to some degree more space created for this Lone Druid. He's at this very delicate timing where he really doesn't want to die, would prefer not to fight. Just about has the gold for the Relic, but of course still a recipe off the Radiance. Maybe that'll be the timing where Escape will consider moving into the Roche Pit. Necro doing something a bit different here though, Purge. He did indeed pick up the Veil of Discord, but now he's got a Buckler. Could be a mech, could also just be casual buckler, but that's kind of peculiar. I mean, you did talk about Necro having armor issues, and with the Veil and the Buckler, it does kind of counteract the potential Desolator from the Weaver, so maybe that's part of the thought process.
Okay, he did finish the mech, but he's had this Buckler a long time, and I also wasn't sure if it was going to be just a Buckler. Like you said, with Elder Titan in the game and a potential Deso on Weaver that will come eventually, some more armor is very needed, and I think the mech was a great choice. It should offset a lot of the team fight ability that PR has. He can keep people alive. So now they have 3 heals: Dazzle, Grave, Necro heal, and a mech. That's more armor for everybody. That's a lot of survivability. It could give them a lot of advantage in the fight.
And speaking of other items picked up, Undershock using a drum charge as they charge into the enemy territory with the invisibility or the smoke on. He's picked up an armlet now. Pretty core item on the Kunkka. When he's in this sort of a role, you turn it on, makes your Tidebringers hurt a little bit more.
And then you turn it right back off and you don't lose that much HP. So it's a great item for him. Really strong. Only downside maybe is that if he uses it too long, he could just run out of HP and get necro ulted, but he's not going to have this on very often. This is like the most common Kunkka build in the high levels right now.
Yeah. Isn't it weird to think about how long the cooldown on Ghost Ship used to be? Now Kunkkas can feel free to just use it as a farming tool when you see a big creep wave like that. 45 or 50-second cooldown, minimal mana cost. Kunkka's really...
Yeah, it was way too difficult to just set up on him. Even still, it's a little hard due to Glimmercape being so effective against him, but having a mix of damage with the armlet build and having setup, it gives you pretty good all-around laning and gank potential.
Yeah, Lone Druid now very close to the Radiance, only 200 gold off the recipe. He's picked up the Relic, so that super delicate, fragile timing is starting to come to an end. Even if they kill him now, it will be minimal losses. PR grouped up in the mid. Yapsor is hiding in the tree line nearby, kind of a precarious situation. Weaver, okay, there's enough trees that you're not going to see him from the high ground there. He will just roll back.
Radiance.
All right,
It's
Radiance
flying
up.
Out.
Dire's middle tower is under
Got him with super positioning, super aggressive positioning here. Pardon me. There is Sentry Ward down also that he needs to be cautious of. They'll just start putting damage into this tier 2 tower. It does have that early Blightstone, so it does add up with the creep auto attacks. Desolator on the way for Weaver. He's got the first Mithril Hammer, about 1k off the entire item.
Yeah, Weaver would, or I mean, PR would have loved to take a fight there just before the Radiance got hit, but now that Radiance is up, I think Escape is pretty happy to fight. Especially if they get a good weave down on like 4 or 5 heroes. If they can fight into that with a decent initiation, it's going to be great for them. And they're the ones that can kind of make the decision. They've got Barretter. They do have to worry about Faceless Void or somebody getting X'd by Kunkka, but this is looking okay for Escape now. They should be out farming their opponents in most cases, considering that Elder Titan and Bane won't be getting that much. So it's going to really come down to the Weaver Void and the Kunkka to keep their farm levels up. Between fights will Escape 4 to 5 bans a lot.
So riddle me this, Purge. Era's got himself a vitality booster on this Necro.
Probably Atos for sure. Atos is just a really good item to have on Necro. Oh, almost getting a...
Oh, the Lincolns actually blocks the lasso. Very nice.
I don't know if he pressed the wrong hotkey. He does have a force, I mean...
Maybe, yeah, he used it right away afterwards. Maybe they just didn't... No, the Lincolns has been up for a while. I mean, he's almost farmed a Desolator. It's been up that long.
I think he probably misclicked or something. I'm not quite sure, but he definitely planned to do Blink Force to break Lincolns and then Lasso, and that would have been a huge Weaver kill, but I'd have to see the replay.
Yeah.
Probably a mistake. Very likely a mistake.
Up top, PR put some pressure onto this tier 2. Glyph will come out and escape. TP in like they do want to make a hole. J4 hiding in the tree line, looking to catch someone. He's going to wrap around onto Kezu. Silence interrupts the Fiend's grip straight away, and now J4 in a very odd position. He goes in deep. Undershot, caught by the Necro ult, but it's not going to be enough for a kill. He will armlet toggle back up to a decent level of HP. Era stuck by the Echo Stomp. And on the back line, J4, was he able to TP out? Looks like
they didn't get Bane either.
There you go. All right, small win for PR. They force a huge reaction out of Escape, and they do some decent damage to that tier 2 tower, also force out a Glyph, and they will just make the retreat. That is the Desolator on the way for Weaver. Oh, Weaver, you need to be a little careful here. With really nice silence from Yapsor as well to interrupt that Fiend's grip. Without his positioning in the tree line like that, might have been a kill onto the Bat Rider. Battle for Vision will go the way of the Dire here in this little fight.
They protect the Observer Ward, at least he'll die in a moment, but yeah, Weaver is pretty strong right now. Kind of hard to kill. They did use time-lapse here. But pretty consistently, PR's been doing a great job killing escape wards. They just are reading their minds this game.
Yeah, small
That's a lot.
2k net worth lead for Power Rangers. Hanging on to a small edge. X marks the spot on the bear. Torrent will follow up. And that'll
They just
be
want
it.
to keep him locked down, that's all, because he's going to be the one that pushes. Oh!
Lasso on the Undershock. They're going to pull him deep into enemy territory. This should be the end of the Kunkka. Not even going to be able to get off the boat before he dies. Earth Splitter tries to help break things up, but not going to be enough. Weaver just focuses on the tower, and with the minus armor, they do trade their Kunkka for a tier 2. Not ideal for Power Rangers, but not bad either. That does limit the access points now for Escape.
Yeah, it was really well done. That's the hero that they need to kill. Killing Weaver's pretty tough. It's like that or Faceless Void maybe, but like there's always one good solution that PR has to grab somebody. Just Bat offsets that by pulling them out of position. If they didn't have that, it'd be so hard for Escape to get any kills this game. They execute it right, and they do get the tier 2 tower despite losing their Kunkka, but Escape's going to get a Roche because of this, so they're absolutely happy with the trade.
Can PR contest this at all with Kunkka up in 8 seconds? They have a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. They've got a Chronos
They're going
here.
slow.
This is a pretty slow Roche.
I think they can fight this.
They're going to make it in time. Here we go. We're going to take a look at Dire Vision. They don't see it yet. They see got him. They're going to start moving out of the pit. The Spirit does scout it out. PR know exactly what's going on. Now the Bear moves in. They might be able to just catch the Bear here. X in the Torrent. Now with the minus armor. It falls fast. They don't have it quite yet. They actually grave the Bear. Now the Chrono on 3. Synderen, he'll be the first one to go down. Now the boat flying through. Got him. Caught by the lasso. The Reaper's Sight. They finish off the Weaver, but it will come at quite the cost.
I think that's worth it.
2 supports and a Bear, and they stop the Roche. Not too bad for PR, but it's not over yet. The Bear continuing to pursue. Once J4, Radiant slowly burning him down. If he gets an Entangling Claw, this could be deadly, but they'll just resummon it back. Echo Stomp from Big Num. Not going to connect. That looks like Power Rangers will get out without losing any more.
Yeah, they were really worried about losing the Bear there, I think, because if the Bear goes down, they're dead for Radiance on 100 seconds, and that would have been way worse.
Yeah.
They lose 2 supports, but they also get the Weaver. I think they're happy with that. It just takes so long for them to kill Roche, but until they get Medallion on Dazzle. And even then, it's not that fast.
That was a really nice chrono from Cheshire Cat as well. Just kind of catching the supports, isolating the Bear. Now we'll see Escape back into the Roche pit, and without a Chrono Spear, this gets a lot more difficult for PR. They're not going to be able to contest it. They're not even making movements towards the pit. Smart play from Escape. Just pop a couple heroes in here, benefit from the low HP already on Roche, and slow and steady, they will bring him down.
They're quite happy with this, I think. As long as the Bear gets fairly tanky, and at the point that they get like a Glimmer Cape Medallion on Dazzle, then all of the combos that PR are doing up until now are going to become a lot less useful. And Era's going to get more mobility. He'll finish his Atos here, and then probably go for Blink Dagger or Force Staff afterwards. And then the offensive potential gets way more dangerous. He can start breaking the Lincolns on his own, basically. Another good reason to have Atos, like an 8-second cooldown or whatever it is.
It's a super short cooldown, and it also has really long range. That's the other thing about the Atos. He doesn't have to get into a sticky situation to break the Lincolns. There you go. Just mouse over that. It's like across the river. It's almost a full screen length.
Really, really good, and also beneficial for chasing. If they had an Atos in that last fight, guarantee they kill the Bane, possibly a second hero if the rest of PR sticks around. So really great item to have in a lot of cases, and now he's got tons of mana pool and really good survivability also.
Yeah, the stats, no doubt, one of the most talked about aspects of the Rod of Atos, just how value the stats are. All that extra all that extra HP. He's up to 1800. Also, the armor is an important part about this build. Necrophos with 20 armor at the 25-minute mark. That's maybe not unheard of, but a rarity to see when you're often going for Blink, Aghanim Scepter, all of these other classic items you used to see on Necrophos. I like the way Era has adapted this build. It feels very well-rounded and kind of perfect for this match.
Yeah, I really like it too. He may have to buy more armor to anticipate the minus armor from the be on the way as well, so he might be able to just read out some mobility items, maybe a Dagon here. We'll see how he plays it.
Yeah, look at this though. Elder Titan with a smart item choice. He's gone for the Hooded Defiance, probably just going to upgrade it into a pipe. Can be very effective in mitigating damage from the Necrophos. Also the Magnetize, one of the other big magic damage dealing abilities aside from the Bat Rider Fire, which you have a little more control over, at least some of the time. Escape looking to get aggressive here. They are all over this enemy jungle. Void in the bottom lane, just uses his Manta, might try to juke it out.
Well, they know it's fake now. Or they're gonna grab him.
He's in a lot of trouble here. Silence, Magnetize, Lasso. He does have a time walk if he survives his initial round of damage, but no. Perfectly timed Reaper's Scythe. Era gets credit for that kill, and Cheshire Cat in the grave for 80 seconds with no buyback.
That's so tough. As soon as the lasso happens, he just looks at the map and he's like, oh, where's my OP hero? There he is. And you just walk straight at him, and you just... That's not a good feeling for Faceless Void, man. As soon as that ulti comes, it's over. You're dead.
Yeah.
More levels for Necro now. The closer he gets to 16, the scarier it becomes for PR here, just because he doesn't even have an Ags yet, and he's getting very close to just blowing heroes up almost solo.
Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane will fall. Meanwhile, in the mid, got him up way too far. Gets silenced. He does have a time lapse. Will manage to get it off, and now Shikuchi away. Weaver will live, just trying to split push and put pressure on that tier 3 tower mid. Starting to feel pretty good for Escape. Power Rangers were holding on to a pretty okay net worth lead for most of this game, and now it is zeroed out as this Bear has really come online and they started to take these team fights Koikva, what's he got coming out next? Probably just Assault Karas. Very standard, predictable build for him. After Radiance, just auras. He's already got the Vlads, and now that Hyperstone AC is looming on the horizon. J4 caught in the tree line, trying to TP home, but Yapzor interrupts it, and now they're just going to lock him down. I don't think he's going to be able to get out of this one.
Yeah, he's saving his stun for this reason, because he knows that J4 is going to try to TP. And once it's guaranteed, he'll finish him off there. Good attempt by the Bane. Nightmare, the one guy that probably had a stun, and at least he doesn't get Necro ultied, but still another kill happens, and it feels like PR is just constantly forcing the split push now because they didn't quite get enough done in the early game, unlike game 1.
Certainly right. Weaver's still farming very well, but the Kunkka, most notably, if got him, almost caught in the enemy jungle, or in his own jungle here. The Lincoln's been broken. This time Kezu gets it off. Now a stun from Yapzor, but the boat flies over, falls just a little bit short. Does kind of zone them out. Now PR just need to make the great escape. Got him, trying to Kuchi away. He'll make it out. Undershock. They dropped a scan. That's a dire scan right there from Escape. Kind of misleading, though. Yeah, they think he's back tucked in the tree line, but it just clipped him right here as he was on his way out.
Kunkka doesn't realize that he's dead now, but...
oh my. He does not TP out fast enough, and they get a freebie here. He does buy his Crystallis before he dies, so at least doesn't lose much. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Earth Splitter catches on Koikva. Bignum, is he in trouble here? This is kind of an awkward engagement. Bignum's going down. Now Cheshire Cat, he time walked in. He will have another one up in a few seconds, but they're going to try to chase this down, it looks like. Bat Rider will have a blink, but no follow-up, and PR just losing heroes all over the map now.
Yeah, they're just kind of losing track of where Escape is likely at. I mean, once the Weaver got out and he only saw the Necro, I don't think he realized how many heroes were actually there and looking for him. And they spent so much time looking for him that Kunkka was like, there's no way they're still here. I'm just going to split push this really fast, but they just happened to be right there. So they're just kind of losing track of things, and Escape is getting things done across the map. Good for them to keep farming, getting kills, and take towers.
Yeah, the lead's going to continue to grow as well. 4 towers getting taken out. Fiend's Grip used on the Spirit Bear. Shallow Grave also used on the Spirit Bear. Bear will stay true to its course, finish off the tower. And now another Nightmare. Bear will finally die. Bane getting credit for that one. So he does get a 300 gold bounty, and the Weaver does chase down the Dazzle. Not too shabby, but now the follow-up. They find J4 in the tree line. He'll be the first to fall. They dusted, hoping to catch the Weaver. He was already in the lane, and they're not going to be able to grab him this time.
That's an okay trade. They got a tower. They got a Bane kill. Era's closer to 16. Got about 2k gold past his Blink Dagger that he's picked up recently. So
yeah, and speaking of that level 16, I really like that they changed it now. So the timing scales a little bit with the added respawn. That 30 seconds at level 6 used to be pretty ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, it really was. Normally you're dead for 20 seconds, you're dead for like 60.
Yeah, it's pretty crippling. Now it scales 10, 20, 30, so getting that level 16 makes a pretty big difference. Extra time in the well, and of course all that extra damage, the main reason you level it up. Things really looking good for Escape. Glancing at the graph, it is just a downward spiral. Now a 5k net worth lead for them as they start to tighten the noose around this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Bear in the front lines once more. There is no resummon for 85 seconds. So if it dies here, it's pretty bad. Chrono Trigger connects on Era as well as the Bear. Both going to be flying overhead. Era will die. He's the mech carrier, and now a bash on the Bear. Savage Roar does create some space, but now Gotham comes in. Nightmare, they finish it off. And now Escape are on the back foot. They need to get the hell out of here. Koikva trying to run, but it's just a Druid. He is not feeling so happy. Undershock nearby with an X does connect onto Koikva. Synderen should have a Shallow Grave, though. Yeah, he certainly does. Going to try to keep his friend alive. Now the Bugs scouting things out. Fiend's Grip, they're not going to be able to get off the Shallow Grave. He has to back out. 2 down, they get the Bear. Now Synderen gets X, not going to be able to TP home. Pops on the Grave, tries to make as much space as he can. But just a couple seconds left of lifetime, the Dazzle will fall, and all of a sudden, Power Rangers take a huge fight and regain some of that lost footing.
They might be able to threaten Rax a little bit. Lone Druid's got his Bear up when he's up. Was killed earlier, and he hadn't gotten to the lane yet, so they weren't able to save Necro through Chrono. That could have changed everything.
Here we go. Tier 3 tower in the mid lane, taking some damage. There is a glyph for escape. No buyback on the Dazzle, but Lone Trick does have one. However, his bear still on cooldown for 8 seconds, so not likely he'll buy back here. Probably won't even have to. The Kunkka didn't even join the push with his team. Instead, they just chipped at the tower, and now the rest of PR are just going to split around the lanes. J4 gets left behind, and he plays Sacrificial Lamb. Will get Reapered. That's kind of unfortunate. Now out of the game for 75 seconds, but looked like they didn't really want to commit much to that. Undershock went to the top lane, and Cheshire Cat went to the bottom lane so they could just continue their farm.
They gotta communicate better if they're gonna do that. I mean, they probably thought the Weaver was fine. He almost died there, and it forced the Bane to try to save him. But I think Escape could have grabbed him. Just a small mistake. Either way, they get the kill. Roche is up, so it's like they're gonna grab Roche, and that's why they finally committed the Necro ulti to that, I think. Just means that PR can't fight.
And now BOT's also up on Era, so he's a little more mobile. Blink Dagger on the Kunkka, and also the MKB on Weaver. Got him, just picked it up. I guess anticipating there could be some evasion coming out. Also just a great damage dealing item.
Good against Radiance as well, just to guarantee you don't miss. So
yeah, that's true.
He can interrupt TPs is the other thing, so no more Grave TPs for Cinder, and it's okay. It's a great damage continuation. Usually Daedalus is much better though, but he doesn't want to have to deal with that 17% miss. That could really add up over the course of the...
Yeah. Now you make a good point about that mini bash, an often overlooked mechanic on this item. Ever since they changed it from sniper.
And another cool thing about it actually is that it does magic damage, which is boosted by the Elder Titan aura. So it's actually a lot better than it normally is damage-wise. Pretty good game for it actually.
That is a peculiar little mechanic there. All right, I like it. Well, regardless, this Weaver is hitting hard. 275 in auto attack, and with that Geminate, he is a pretty scary force to be reckoned with. Era will be the one to take the Aegis, the Necrophos, so they'll have to kill him twice. And Kunkka getting dangerously close to his first Daedalus. We did see this from Power Rangers the other day. They did end up picking up a Rapier, though we'll hold that thought as Cheshire Cat caught by the lasso right into a Veil. Reaper's Sight, not much the Void can do there. Kunkka,
they got him.
No, he tries to TP out. Savage Roar interrupts it. Undershock, you are definitely dead, my friend. That was a bit of a misplay, and it will cost him his life.
Dude, you know the best part about that is that Hoikful wasn't even there. He was off farming. He just happened to bring his bear top. And with that roar, they guaranteed a double kill instead of just one. That was insane.
Yeah, small stroke of luck there. I thought the Kunkka, like, sort of the blink dagger, he just blink into the tree line and TP home, but it seemed like he just got a little greedy with his positioning and stayed in vision.
Yeah, he thought he could save him with the boat maybe, but they got caught. He tried to save him, and he thought he was fine, but Hoikful didn't put that bear there by chance. Like, I guarantee he could have put it somewhere and gotten farmed faster, but instead he's able to get that advantage. Bear might actually die to Weaver. This is kind of dangerous. Like, once the bug is on him, it's like he just doesn't have very good solutions to killing the bugs.
Yeah, the bug is really annoying. Silence onto Gotham just comes a little bit too late. And what's the scary part about this is it's just Weaver versus the bear. This is without any of the other heroes there for the peripheral, like Tidebringer damage, you know, natural order, all that kind of stuff. This bear is definitely killable for PR, and that is a scary fact for Escape.
It's a swarm. It's tough to deal with. The Eps are almost dying to Weaver here. Okay, he did get a good roll though.
But Era comes in with a decapitation. That's a gem down. Cinder going to be happy to trade out his infused raindrops for a gem. Now Weaver out of the game for 95 seconds. He does not have buyback. He has the cooldown, but he's short about 130 gold. This is a huge window of opportunity. Void will be coming back up. He's got his Chronosphere, of course. He also has Glyph, but this is tough for PR here.
That's so tough. At least they can enfeeble the bear and slow this down a little bit, but this tower's dead.
X, Torrent on the bear. Torrent actually doesn't even connect. The boat comes in. Bear gets pulled back. He does have a resummon also. So they can afford to just completely sacrifice the bear, put him on all objectives. Nice juke there with the Echo Stomp. Still 60 seconds on the Weaver. This is a guaranteed one lane of barracks.
And Batrider's looking for initiation with the Shadow Blade.
And they actually find somebody here. Undershot goes in, X's himself, but they grab Big Numb with the lasso. Force Staff pulls him into no man's land. No Echo Stomp either. It's still on cooldown, right into an Entangling Claws. All of a sudden, it's a 5-on-3, 40 seconds for them to do crippling damage to space. And they can drop a boat, a chrono to try to delay things. Escape, are they going to back out, or do they just go for another lane? All the tier 2 towers are down, so they can at the very least chip it to tier 3. I think this is the right call to just rotate bottom.
Yeah. I mean, why stop? They've got Reaper's Sight. If they make another mistake, the game basically ends.
Yeah, they still have Aegis
one
too.
more person, it's over. It's absolutely over.
All right, this is do or die for the Power Rangers. Lasso still on cooldown for 20 seconds, but it'll be up right around the time Elder Titan comes up. There's another tier 3 tower down. Again, they still have a resummon. Torrent onto Era. They're going to start to back out here. Maybe. Could be a fake back as well. Got him. TP's in. Gets stunned immediately. They break the Lincolns. The Weaver will be forced onto a more defensive foot right out of the gate. The Bear will go down. And this might be the sign for Escape to just get out of dodge. Have a resummon. They'll bring the Bear back. Also, Shiva's guard.
They're definitely in a fake back here. There's no way that they go all the way back. I mean, it's a little dangerous because if their Bear dies again, they lose, or they lose the push and could lose a big fight. But with Lasso up, they have the easiest way to get a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, the bug's so annoying here for Escape. We're looking at Radiant Vision right now. They're getting a little bit of intel. The Bat Rider poked into that Ward Vision, and they will be back. He has a Shadow Blade on the Bat Rider this go-around.
Yeah, it's great for looking for kills. Good against Weaver as well. That way he doesn't necessarily have to use Blink to initiate. He can use it to escape if things look a little scary.
By the way, that's pretty cool. Very intimidating. Escape just looking for the opportunity. They back up, move into Fog, and they want to push this lane out without revealing that their whole team is here, I think. This Radiant Vision, they see Era. They're not even being sneaky about it now. They do lose the Aegis. Maybe Escape will back out now that they don't have the Roche advantage.
Yeah, they should play it safe, honestly. They're way ahead right now. They have the better late game. They have the better pickoffs. Their itemization looks good. Like, Era's becoming harder and harder to kill here with the Shiva's Guard pickup. They should just play it safe. Wait till they get a pickoff, take a Roche, and then take an easy Rax. No reason to make it a little bit gambly. I mean, if they found an opportunity earlier when they were poking around there, sure, they take it and they end the game. But there's no point to force it at this point when they're ahead.
All right.
It's elimination, man. Like, you don't mess around in these.
Yeah, that's a good point. Restating the stakes here. This is Game 3 elimination, best of 3. You get wiped up, you let PR get back in the game, all of a sudden, the paradigm shifts. More item progression, though, across the board. Solar Crest now out for the Dazzle. We talked about the Shadow Blade, the Shiva's Guard. There's almost a full Aghanims on this Earth Spirit, by the way. He's about 400 gold short, but that's always pretty huge. Raiden have really been slowing down in terms of item progression.
There was a smoke on PR right under that ward on mid lane. They didn't put a sentry down before they smoked. It got spotted. They used the scan as well, and they all get out. So smoke is wasted now for PR, and this is going to force them back in their base for a while. Just because that was their one time to move out and escape. Play around this. Play a little safe. Push out the lanes. Wait until you know where your opponents are, and then you can start playing the map normally.
Yep. All right. Aghanim Scepter on the Necrophos. This is the 6th slot for Era. Not completely capped out. Could maybe upgrade the Veil or something like that, but overall, a very synergistic build now. His ultimate is scary. They can take out one of these cores and eliminate buyback. That's a potentially game-winning ultimate in and of itself right there.
Yeah, that's why Necro's so scary late game. And there's going to be a time eventually when Necro becomes so good that he's picked all the time and people hate life in pubs. But for now, the moment is not quite there. He still has some weaknesses, and Escape has been able to play around them by not getting Necro too far behind.
Yeah, I think one of the bane of the pub... this game, it was a safe lane Necro, and that's one of the hardest parts is that early laning stage for him. Good luck going safe lane Necro in your pub games. Your teammates will probably not be too keen on that. I think that's one of the most I mean, Necro mid is not the easiest hero to execute with. We might have to hold that thought. Cinderin, does he get initiated on? No, he just backs out. Okay.
Oh, he's close to getting caught, though. They had
Bugs.
Oh, they didn't actually have a ward. They were just trying.
His teammates are inbound, though. PR kind of getting baited out of their base a little bit. Take a look at Dire Vision. They've got a ward on the high ground. They've got pretty good intel of what's going on here. They see the positioning. Just trying to find the right angle to initiate Bat Rider with the Shadow Blade. Trying to move behind enemy lines, but wonder where that fire's coming from.
Who knows, man? Graphics bug or something?
Just blame Reborn? Yeah, I'm sure that's happened before. Like, I wonder why this fire's here. That's a weird graphics bug. Uh-oh.
I like the ward placement as well of Escape, especially that it's very focused towards the one lane that's not pushing, because they should be able to anticipate split push, or people going to buy secret shop items as well. Very useful here. So they just got to keep mid pushed in, pressure bottom a little bit, and look for those opportunities.
Yeah, now the MKB is up on the lone druid, this bear. Starting to pack quite the punch. He's also got a basher. Totally missed that pickup, but a little bit of extra control now for Escape.
Yeah, that's a little bit safe. He could have grabbed maybe a Abyssal Blade instead for his bear, but to have the MKB just guarantees that he doesn't have to worry about this anymore. And if a butterfly came out on
here, but it could cost him. Lincoln's gets broken. He gets grabbed by the lasso. Era has the Reaper's Scythe. They probably didn't even need to use it there for the kill, but want to make sure the Weaver cannot buy back. He did have buyback, by the way. 4K gold. He was pulling for it. That's a huge kill. They've got 100 seconds for Escape to try and close this one out. Now Koikva, the one that gets caught by the Chrono. Dazzle does grave himself. Koikva just gets tickled in the Chrono. It's like the Void didn't even do any damage. Now Cinderin gets caught by a Fiend Script. He'll go down, but on the backside, Kezi with a BKB. In comes the Bear. In comes the full cavalry. And Era now joining the party. Is Earth Splitter going to make a difference? Definitely not. Undershock gets brought down. It's 3 dead for Power Rangers. The Dazzle will buy back. And that's it. PR have had enough. They tap out. With the Weaver in the grave without a buyback, they say, hey, there's no way we can hold off this push. And Big Numb will throw away his life. That was a game-winning kill right there. It just takes one Reaper Scythe, and that's it.
And what they basically did is they moved around with Necro and Bat to guarantee that whichever guy they found pushing out top, they could kill. And I don't know if they spotted him with the Observer Wards and prepared for it, or if they just planned, or if they say, oh, we'll show Lone Druid, Dazzle, or Spirit will show him on the bot lane, so they're going to assume that all 5